Hello everyone, Maria and
Gina.
Reflect and Reset. Whose favorite show?
Everyone's favorite.
Everyone, right? How are we doing, partner?
We're doing good.
We're very excited today, as we are at every show, because we are bringing information that we know is valuable for you and your family. And as usual, my partner in crime is going to make the introduction.
So we know the holidays are here again. Thank goodness. We're going to all be experiencing some great times, especially
Starting tonight.
We're going to a party. Maria and I are partying again tonight. But so we have a very special guest, David Lee, who's here. He is a personal trainer and he's a nutritionist. And we're going to get some information about how to stay healthy during the holidays and how to start those New Year's resolutions and stay with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, not like me, who starts and stops and starts and stops.
No, you don't give yourself credit. Look at you.
No.
She's looking hot.
But anyway, we're gonna let the professional talk to us about what to do and what not to do. So why don't you, David, welcome, first of all. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into fitness and nutrition?
First of all, thank you very much, ladies, for having me on this show. I hope whatever I talk about will provide value for not only you, but for your viewers and anyone else who's going to listen to this. Fitness was accidental for me. I think I'm not typical for a personal trainer. I kind of fell into it because from a backdrop of low self-confidence and low self-esteem, dating back all the way from when I was 7, 8 years old. Used to play by myself in inner city Baltimore. I know that my mother was a single mother, managing a bodega, living up on top of a bodega, and I didn't have any friends. So for me, I was just playing around like a kid. But growing up, because I didn't have any friends, I think that just kind of led into this cycle of antisocial behavior. So I started getting into video games, going into high school, still no friends. And long story short, senior year was kind of, I think, like a catalyst towards putting me into a deeper rabbit hole of anti-fitness, because it was in my senior year. I wanted to make the most of my high school life. I didn't go to prom, I didn't have a date, I didn't have a girlfriend, and my only friend as a senior was a freshman. So I wanted to try football, because I thought, hey, if I play football, I'm gonna get all the girls. I'm gonna get some girls, because all the football players are getting girls and things like that.
Oh boy.
So, in high school I was 5'6", 120 pounds, soaking wet. So you can only imagine how that went. I wasn't no 5-star recruit for ESPN. I wasn't getting scouted. Yeah.
Out of the way.
That didn't go well. I think during practice there were a few times when I got lined up with some of our studs during tackle drills, and I distinctly remember one play where our linebacker, who was from Arkansas, who was like 220 pounds, double my weight. I looked behind me and I was like, here you go, take the football, and that was I walked off the field and that was it. And my self-confidence was shattered even more. And then I tried swimming because, hey, it's swimming. I'm by myself, I'm in the water, what's the worst that can happen? I swam 2 meets. The first meet was a disaster. But it was okay because I was blended in with my other teammates. We did like IM medleys and team medleys. Mm-hmm. But in the second meet, they had me do a heat by myself, a solo swim. It was a 100-meter freestyle. And I remember as I'm swimming, I'm looking up towards the sands as my head's going up like this, and I see the parents laughing at me because I'm so slow. Everyone had already finished, and I still had another 50 meters to swim. I get out of the pool, and the way I perceived it, people were laughing at me. And in combination with my high exertion and people laughing at me, I started having a panic attack or an anxiety attack or whatever it was, but I started hyperventilating. I couldn't catch my breath. They had to brown paper bag me. And because I couldn't get my breath under control, they called the ambulance, and I had to get stretchered out of the gymnasium, of the swimming pool. I went to the ER, got an IV, whatever, things like that, and then I joined the military. I joined the U.S. Air Force. I served 6 years from 2004 to 2010, and in 2009, because I wanted to get some promotion points to be a sergeant, I decided to sign up to be a volunteer personal trainer called a personal training leader. And I thought, hey, I'm going to self-motivate myself to be a personal trainer. You know, if I'm going to be leading group exercise classes, I'm going to be in shape too. I didn't realize that was what really catapulted me towards fitness, because I started helping people one-on-one in group exercise, and I thought it was pretty fun, right? I'm barking orders, and some of the people are my bosses, my commanding officers, and then I worked with one particular person who had 14 years in the service, had 4 kids, inner city Detroit, uneducated. He didn't really have a future if he got out. He failed his first eval, and if he failed 2 evals in the military, he got the boot. So we worked together for about 3 months. He lost weight, passed the PT eval, barely, but he passed, and he salvaged his career. And he got on his hands and knees, grasped my hands, and he said, "Thank you, you saved my life."
Wow.
And I think from that on, after I got out of the military in 2010, I decided I was going to be a personal trainer because, oh, you can get paid to help people get fit, to tell them what to eat? Sign me up. And then in 2011, I became certified as a personal trainer, got enrolled at New York University to be a registered dietitian, and became licensed in 2015. Since 2011, I've had the immense opportunity and fortune and pleasure to work with over 400 different clients, various backgrounds, ages, shapes, and sizes, and clocking over 10,000 personal training hours. So that's kind of like my long story made shortish.
He actually was Natasha's dad's trainer.
Oh, really?
I wonder if he's gonna watch this.
So
I didn't know that.
when I met him, I'm like, wait a minute, David, you're David from New York Sports Club,
Right.
and he trained Natasha's dad.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, you know, I felt even more comfortable to bring you here because you did a great job with him. So it's, you know, I was
You
like,
know firsthand.
yeah, I know firsthand
Yeah.
that you are a great trainer. And he always spoke extremely highly of David. And I knew David just from Steve.
Yeah.
And so it was interesting. Out of those 400, one of them
One of them was Steve.
When you mentioned it, I was like, oh my goodness, I hope this is going to make things awkward.
Listen, he's my daughter's dad,
Yeah,
so
yeah, he'll be in
it's
your
definitely
life
it's part of my story. So, and it definitely benefit that I knew that you did a great job with him. So,
Well, thank you.
yeah.
And I'll make sure I thank Steve again.
So you've been solo basically now for how long now?
Since April of 2018. I used to
Okay.
be a trainer at New York Sports Club in White Plains. I was there from 2012 to 2018.
And the work you do, one of the things that I think is different is that you do concentrate on a personalized training.
Mm-hmm.
And the combination of being a trainer, but at the same time being a nutritionist,
Yeah.
that is
That's
valuable.
key. Because they say, and actually, you know, my brother Michael, probably know him from New York Sports Club. So my brother Michael always is on a fitness kick, and he says that 90% of what you do is what you take in to your body.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest, it will happen, but you could work out like crazy. You're just through straight, just don't hold it up. But someone like me or anybody could work out like crazy, but then put the wrong stuff in our mouth and counteract all the good that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So he was saying that when he concentrates on his food intake,
Yeah.
and then he does his exercise routine, he trims down unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So
What do you think are the main challenges that everybody has? Because
Yeah,
I mean,
everybody.
this is losing weight is like the biggest issue, right? And I remember you saying, I always say it wrong, genetics.
Genetics.
Can you talk a little bit about what your thoughts are on that?
I thought when I first became a personal trainer, I needed to know the exercises, I needed to know what type of programs are going to be great for people, what foods to eat, nutrition plans. I thought that if I crammed my head with enough knowledge that if somebody asked me a question, I could answer it like this with all the technical knowledge in the book, that would make me a personal trainer. It made me a very technically sound and personal trainer, but what I found was that it wasn't really helping my clients long term. In the beginning, when they came to me motivated to learn different things, they were willing to try out my suggestions. But like you said, there are people who are struggling to lose weight. And I discovered, well, I'm sure there are many other people who discover, but in my personal experience, I found that the people are struggling to lose weight not because there's a lack of education, but there's just this lack of self-accountability. So then what I started doing was, I talk about genetics, I talk about eat this, eat that, you need to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep, turn off the TV so you manage your stress, go to the gym 3 times a week or whatnot. A lot of people know these things almost intuitively.
Yeah.
Yet they're
Maybe too much.
Right, maybe
right?
too
It's
much.
just become numbed to that information.
Yes, there's this paradox of choice where if you're confronted with too many choices, you get confused, you get paralysis by analysis, and you decide not to actually make any sort of decision.
Like that, paralysis by analysis. I'm gonna steal that one.
I mean, I stole it from somebody else. I don't know who I stole it from. I mean, most of the stuff that I'm talking to you about has already been repeated. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. I'm just.
But you introduced it to us, so give yourself the credit. Thank you.
Thank you for giving me credit. So then I started diving into behavioral psychology, neuroscience, cognitive techniques. And what I found was when I started trying to help my clients with behavioral issues, looking at their behaviors and doing my best to get their thoughts to align with their actions, that's what really led to change. Because they know that they should eat something, but they don't know how to make it work because this is getting in the way.
I think that's called the subconscious mind.
It could be, right? I mean, of course, I think a lot of, whether somebody has an emotional history with food, or they turn to certain foods without really knowing it because it brings them comfort, that's one thing. But then, if I'm working with an adult and they're exhibiting irrational behaviors, we want to get to the bottom of those irrational behaviors. And of course, I don't try to practice outside of the scope of anything that could be clinically diagnosable, such as depression or anxiety. But what I found with most of my clients is that I could at least address the superficial irrational beliefs to help them start to address those behaviors.
Right.
And I use certain techniques that you can find in cognitive behavior therapy, rational emotive behavior therapy, things of that nature, where we're trying to address these things so that once they can start addressing their rational beliefs, then they're more receptive to the technical knowledge. I think if you don't address those subconscious, self-limiting beliefs such as, oh my God, I'm going to eat this, now I'm going to feel guilty, but you still do it anyway, how do we set my clients up for success? The transformation happens from the neck up. That's what I think. So once you get the transformation to start from the neck up, then it happens from the neck down. Yeah. And I think coming in for the holiday season, I think it's very appropriate to talk about some of those things because a lot of people are coming out of this holiday season feeling guilty, feeling shameful. They're going to feel frustrated about the way they look. Yet they subjected themselves to the situation that are going to lead to that frustration and guilt in the first place.
So what are some of the cognitive therapies or tips that you would do on some?
The first thing that I try to get my clients to do is if you have the ability to make a particular decision, you have the capability and the willingness to do it, you shouldn't feel guilty or shameful. If you willingly put yourself in a particular situation to eat a certain food, you shouldn't feel guilty or shameful about it, right? It's kind of like a paradox. If you're in a particular situation because you can't help it, then you still shouldn't feel guilty or shameful because you can't control it, right? It's kind of like how people feel bad about the weather. Why feel bad about the weather when you can't really control it, right? And so when people go to these holiday parties, they're like, oh man, I'm gonna feel like poop because I ate a pizza or I ate this or I drank. It's like, did you willingly decide to eat and drink? It's like, yes. Well, then you shouldn't feel guilty about it. Yeah, but I can't help it. I was like, hey, so those are the irrational beliefs that through questioning and self-reflection and introspection, we try to get our clients to address.
It's almost like take the guilt and those negative feelings out of the equation, face the decisions that you're making, and just for what it is. And when you stop doing, feeling that guilt and all the sadness, then you can start looking at the action by itself.
It's hard. It's hard. It's so difficult because I think a lot of people, they feel some sort of accomplishment or pride when they acquire knowledge. Oh, I just learned something new. It makes me feel better. Let me go try it out. Getting to the bottom of why you behave a certain way is difficult. It takes time.
We work on it every
day.
And as CEOs, like, it's just I'm sure that you're always running into hurdles and obstacles, whether with yourself or with other people, and it's how.
But we work at it every day. We talk about the daily deposits. It is doing positive things, even if it's one or two, on a daily basis. Yeah. And going to someone like you and talking, you should be doing some videos and stuff, really we'll talk after.
No, I'm not interesting enough.
definitely.
I'm only interesting when other people talk to me. That's why I should do it.
you're-
That's why I should do the improv.
Yeah, no, you're doing great. So this is great information.
Yeah.
I'm actually, so part of, you work on behavior, you work on obviously a meal plan if they need a meal plan. And, but in addition to, you do the training, which I am privileged to say that I'm starting to train with them next Saturday.
You are?
So, yes.
Oh, you're supposed to keep that a secret.
No.
I mean, you look like a leopard
This
right now.
is-
You're gonna come in like a huntress, like rawr.
So we are going to, you can see now my muscles because in a few months,
This week? This Saturday?
no, next Saturday.
Next Saturday. I think
Because
it's-
I would like to,
Oh,
actually, yeah, you're right. I have to figure it out. You're right. So the idea is,
I know
anyway,
what's
I'm
going
starting to train with David because I want to do I'm going to do bodybuilding. So I'm not sure. I definitely want to be in a cover of a magazine. This is a vision that I have at the age of 55.
I think it's Forbes that we want to be in the cover of, okay? Not
Yeah.
Muslim Fitness, we want to be in the cover of Forbes magazine.
Well,
Forbes.
that
Forbes,
too.
GQ, Vogue.
Forbes.
And the
She
idea-
could be on health and fitness and I'll be on
Yes,
Forbes.
we'll be on board too. We were already, but it's digital,
In the
so
magazine.
definitely. So the idea is to start challenging, and for me, one of the new challenges is that I want my body completely ripped at the age of 55. That I can put a bikini and show that my body can go backwards instead of moving forward. So
Yeah, we have to talk because I think I need to start training with you too.
Okay.
What's also going to be important is we're going.
You heard this, by the way.
Yeah.
You heard
All the
this. So
We're going for the show and the go. Meaning you're not only going to look good, but you're going to perform like a superstar. We're gonna have you doing pull-ups and chin-ups. You're gonna be
That's
doing.
what he does.
Yeah,
yeah,
we're
but
gonna
not
have you
to the
She's an
level.
animal.
This
That's why
is
she's bringing
different.
up
Well,
her because she's an
well,
animal.
we'll see. When I see her on
No.
Saturday, we'll see.
I have a lot
Really,
more.
I do the stupid little video at home, right? And I'm like, I gotta sit down. And that's me motivating myself. And I had to sit down. It was like, oh my god, I'm gonna throw up.
Let me ask you, we are going to a party today and there's going to be a lot of alcohol. So what do you think of alcohol?
What's the
intake?
best one to have?
Yeah.
Tequila.
I think that whenever somebody asks me about alcohol, and I'm sorry if I didn't answer your question beforehand, I just went on and
No,
on.
no, no.
That's
you
good.
did.
That's all good.
Okay.
You did.
When
You're
it,
doing
when,
great.
when it comes to alcohol, the first thing I try to understand is what do my clients, what do people know about alcohol? Do people know what an alcohol equivalent is? Well, what's an alcohol equivalent? It's what is one serving of alcohol? 5 ounces of wine, 12 ounces of beer, and 1.5 ounces of hard liquor, which equates to a shot. Those three generally equal 120 calories. A lot of people, so a pint, so when somebody says, oh, I had a glass of beer, it says, okay, well, how many ounces was that glass of beer? Like, oh, I don't know, I went to a restaurant. It's like, normally if you go to a restaurant, they give you 16 ounces, which is a pint. That's more than a serving of alcohol. And unless somebody actually knows how to pour the right amount, you're generally not going to have a serving of alcohol, especially if you go out. So when it comes to alcohol, I usually don't have a problem with alcohol. The recommendation for alcohol is, on average, 1 drink per day for women and 2 drinks per day for
That
men.
ain't gonna happen.
Right. So
Right
if-
down on the
right, and then then you average it out throughout the week, and if you were to average it out throughout the week, you would have 7 drinks per week for women, right?
Which is doable. 'Cause
Which is doable.
Yeah, drink
Now-
during the
No,
week.
during
Yeah,
the
wait a
week,
second.
it's
Right, now here's the monkey wrench. Drinking 1 drink per day has a different effect on your body
Than
than
having
drinking
all
7
7 in
drinks,
one
yes,
day.
in one night. Because the way alcohol affects your body. Now, something else I tell my clients is alcohol is generally not the problem. Many people, when they drink alcohol, they eat. They overeat, and they usually eat the wrong things.
yeah, because you get the munchies. You start French fries,
Yeah.
buffalo wings.
Actually, you drink and you dance.
That's it.
Right, and
So
most
I actually lose weight.
and most people are not fitness and health-minded like you and you. Most people don't look like you. Most people don't do at-home workout tapes. So when you go to these holiday parties, they're usually not going to serve healthy foods. I mean, I'm sure some holiday parties
Yeah.
do if you go to a gym's holiday party.
But you're right.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of choices for healthy food.
But you know what?
Absolutely.
And it's funny because I'm gluten free, so a lot of the things that they offer I can't eat anyway.
Right. Okay.
So I end up going to the bar.
Yeah. You're so it's self-limiting. It's self-limiting.
It is something.
Yeah.
Actually, being gluten free, you know,
There's not a lot of choices
There's
at
not-
parties like this.
yeah, and you actually eat healthier.
I eat much healthier.
And also, what I would like people to consider is if you look at somebody who has an alcohol problem, an alcoholic, generally they're not overweight, they're not obese. They have a gut, which usually represents a hormonal imbalance. But a lot of alcoholics are not overweight because the calories in the alcohol displaces calories from food.
So they don't eat.
Most of the time they don't eat. They don't overeat.
They don't overeat.
They don't overeat.
It's those.
It's the moderate drinkers who
Yeah.
do a lot of social drinking
That
and
makes
going out to
sense.
eat. Yes,
Mhm.
yes. And it's the way that the body processes alcohol.
So you think it's better to be an alcoholic?
Everything has its ups and downs.
I'm
Life
just-
is look.
I'm
Life,
just checking.
look, life is full of compromises. Life is full of compromises.
No,
You do
I'm
my
just kidding.
part.
I'm just kidding.
Life is full of compromises.
No, you know what?
Oh,
Actually,
goodness.
the truth of the matter is that during the holidays, and we actually stopped going out because we're working so much. So we stopped going out, and then she has her daughter and stuff like that. So I just go home. But now during the holidays, like we have a party tonight, we have a party on Monday,
Yeah.
and it's like we look forward to this.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
to
fun.
go out and to hang out and socialize.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you
But
look
you know
forward-
what? 2
But
drinks.
modest,
In
moderate,
my, yeah.
right, you don't
For
want
me, after the marathon, 2 drinks, I'm done. Like I have enough with 2 drinks. And what I normally do is also have water with me
Yeah,
all the time, so that I'm filling up with water. And the 2 drinks is more than enough. And then I usually drink it at the beginning. I always say, I'm gonna have my 2 drinks at the beginning, and then I start getting water. So by the time I go to sleep, and what I'm finding is that I wake up and I'm not as tired. That the effect of the alcohol has been lessened.
Using that as a metaphor, if you use this as a strategy, for every one drink 1 non-alcoholic beverage, and maybe that'll deter you from drinking because you have to go to the bathroom so much. I gotta go to the bathroom again. I don't want to drink anymore, or something like that. I don't know.
should just take.
You could tell we're in the holiday spirit because we're being very silly today. So let's talk about food to avoid. And you were saying, we all know what food to avoid, but let's talk about it anyway because sometimes people don't really understand. And also about portion control.
Okay.
Yeah, portions are so big.
When you ask foods to control, are you talking about during the holidays or in general?
Let's talk about that during the holidays right now.
Man, when it comes to the holidays, my inclination is to say all bets are off on the holidays. All bets are off because, like you said, you really look forward to the holiday season.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want me. The way that I operate with my clients is just this intense accountability. You pay me, and I'm going to be following up with you 3 times a week. But hey, how'd your day go? What did you do well? What didn't you do well? What do you think we can improve on? You don't want me doing that when you're on a holiday party. Hey, make sure you don't drink it. Make sure you don't drink that much. Make sure you don't eat this or eat that. Like,
I changed my mind. I'm not going with it.
no, that's not me. That's what I'm saying. Like, during the holiday season, enjoy yourself because
you're right.
right. So when we make decisions emotionally and logically on different paths. So go out and enjoy yourself. Don't feel guilty and shameful because what that's going to allow you to do is when you do come out of the holiday season, you're like, hey, you know what? I don't feel bad about myself. I enjoyed the holiday season, and now that the holiday season is over, it's time for me to get back on track. It's time for me to get my act together. That's how I want people to think. Like, don't guilt trip yourself, because if you guilt trip yourself, then that's when you start getting to that roller coaster of yo-yo dieting and things like that. But to answer your question, if it comes to foods to avoid, I don't know, any foods that has a combination of high fat, high sugar, high carbs, and high salt. Generally, those are comfort foods, things like lasagna, pizza, wings, and because that's called like
Buffalo wings are not good for you, right?
Well, it depends on what sauce is on there. It depends.
I love buffalo wings.
If you do buffalo wings and you douse it in like blue cheese or ranch,
No,
Yeah.
Frank's hot sauce.
or Frank's hot sauce.
But then they have 2, 3,
Right.
maybe 4.
So people would think like tortilla chips are healthy. If you do tortilla chips and you can keep dipping it in avocado dip or whatever, that could rack up. Calories can rack up, even because you can still gain weight eating healthily. So any foods that have a combination of high carbs, high sugar, high salt, and high fat, those are generally the foods to be more careful of. Not necessarily to avoid, just to be more mindful of.
I saw an email that you send. Does that email, do you send it to all your clients?
I send it to all my clients. I love writing.
What is the email?
He's a great writer. Definitely give you a lot of input and a lot of food for thought. Literally.
Pun intended. I consider myself a prolific writer. I wouldn't say that I'm a great writer. I do enjoy writing. I have a complimentary newsletter that people can sign up if they go to www.strongbylee.com. It's free.
Strong by Lee?
Yep, Strong by Lee.
Strong by Lee.
Yep, L-E-E. They sign up for my newsletter. If you sign up, you get this free seven email course that talks, I call it the hot habits, basically the 7 big things that I like people to understand so that they can improve their self-accountability and self-empowerment. But I send an average of 5 emails per week that talks about various topics: fitness, nutrition. I have a formula. Like, if you want to flourish and you want to have optimal fitness, we want to look at function, the way your body moves. We want to look at food, the way you nourish your body. We want to look at framework, your life outside of the gym, stress management, sleep, those things. And those are all the various topics that I talk about in my complimentary newsletter. And I have about 200 emails in the pipeline. So as soon as you join my email newsletter, you'll get an email almost every single day for the next 6 months. It's a lot of writing, and I'm trying to modify it so that people aren't bombarded with emails, because we get enough emails as it is.
We're going to get him to do videos, so he's going to be sending videos instead.
And it's really even just a quick tip videos.
Yep.
About, today's video is on, what to avoid or what to eat or what not to eat. Yeah, interesting, very interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so we are getting close to the end, and I want you to, I know time just flies.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't it incredible? We're 30 minutes in.
I bet I'm sure I knocked you all off your agenda.
No, it's actually great.
Actually, you did a great job, and I am very, very excited to have you on the show. You gave great information, and it was relevant. I'm sure a lot of people that are watching us, they're relating to what we're saying. And I love what you said, that is being mindful. Mindfulness is critical, like really understanding, trying to be curious and aware of your behavior. Behavior is key. We know we're behaving badly, let's say, and we don't stop to say why.
I think it's people because, one, I think that they're not aware of that dichotomy of choice that we were talking about earlier. Looking at the things that you can control and looking at the things you can't control. I took that from the Stoic philosophy, but also at the same time understanding, drawing that line between what are you actually able to do versus what are you willing to do, because those are two very different things.
That's powerful.
But I also believe it's a mindset. I said that once before.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, and even when the doctor had told me that I had to go gluten-free immediately, it wasn't even a question. I just did it, and I don't. Right? You don't see me even tasting anything. I don't go near anything that has gluten. And now I'm even drinking Tito's. So just so you know.
You know what, Gina? Though I think that explains why you're a CEO. Because once you're told that you need to do something, you get it done.
There's a lot of things that I've stopped like that because you have to.
Yeah.
Whether it be for your life, for your health, or whatever it is, you just
But
have
it's
to.
learning. I like the accountability because I think that is critical. Because a lot of people don't have accountability, they actually don't get the results. I think accountability is key, and you see it. I mean, look at us. We're always accountable to each other. Always, and that is it, not just physically, because Gina was just born this way.
Was that song born? I was born this way.
Yeah.
I was born
some of us
this
are blessed, and some of us aren't.
I work at it every day. It's my daily deposits that get me here, but creating those habits and your daily deposits is critical. That concept of just one, you know, for me is I set my goals and then I start every day, almost like the marathon, where you start training and you're doing a mile, you know, and you get to the point where 7 miles looks like a mile.
Yeah.
So when you said is what are you willing to do, is that's critical. Ask the question, what are you willing to do? Let's take the guilt and those shame feelings aside and just take a look at what are you willing to do, and then do it slowly. Don't rush to run a marathon today, because guess what? You're not gonna make it. The chances of you making a marathon without training are impossible. Same thing.
Unless you're Franco.
Unless you're Franco, my son, he
Oh,
did
okay.
it. But he was in crazy shape and he's done a marathon before.
Takes after
But yeah, he's a little crazy. But anyway, most people are not that crazy.
Right.
So let's reflect, reset, reconnect, and we are wishing you, because we are not going to be seeing
next week is
anybody until
Christmas.
next year.
Aw.
Oh my goodness. Well, guess what? We should definitely say thank you to all of you for the support, the love, the commitment that you've given us.
Yeah.
Have an amazing
Amazing
holidays. Happy New Year. We'll
Yes.
see you in
2020.
2020. Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.